Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kurt. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We are in a slightly more updated version than the last video. We are in 0.19.1, a couple bug fixes, things like that. I guess the big news since the last time we played is that Kerbal Space Program was released and available for purchase on Steam. So now you can pick up a copy on Steam. I don't know why you would have been waiting for Steam to get Kerbal Space Program when you could have gotten it directly from them all this time. But yeah, now it's available on Steam, and actually, it's part of this, I guess, Steam's new pre-sale, or whatever they're calling it. There's games that aren't quite finished, that are in alpha or beta, like Kerbal Space Program, that you can buy. And then you get all the updates, obviously. And actually, Kerbal Space Program, overall, in terms of the top sales, was in the top 10 for quite a while. I saw them as high as the 6th most sold game on Steam, above even Skyrim and stuff like that. They're still in the top 20, but good on the people at Squad, and congratulations to them for this new kind of distribution that they're exploring with Steam. It's a great thing, but for us, we are going to continue our game. And if you remember from the last episode, we messed around with one of the pre-made stock Rover and Skycrane, which is something that's just included in the game that they built for you to kind of give you an idea of how to build something. We messed around with this. I figured perhaps we should actually... Suspense, hype. Where is it? Yes. We should actually, maybe, perhaps try to send this rover to Mars. To Duna, actually. Duna is the name of the planet that we want to go. Kind of recreate the Curiosity rover adventure, except to Duna. So instead of the Mars Exploration Rover, MER, it's the DER, Duna Exploration Rover. But before we do this, before we use this rocket, I'm also going to attempt... I don't use solid rocket boosters ever, so I'm going to attempt doing that. But otherwise, one of our normal launch platforms here. But before we do that, I need to actually test out the entire, the 7 minutes of terror, I guess, the re-entry and landing system, because I have this. This is obviously the cruise stage that's going to get us to Duna, but this disconnects, and this is acting as our heat shield, I guess. And then that's going to go away. I'm going to have a parachute, and then that's going to go away, and then I'll have the Skycrane, and then the landing. So I want to make sure I've set up the staging correctly. So what I've done is I've also created a test platform, which is basically, I've just removed the launch stage, so it's just the upper stage and then the lander, all with the same staging. So what we're going to do with the test platform is see the moon through the planet, apparently. No. We are going to test this puppy out. Let me make it a little bit... I think it's actually sunset or sunrise. That's sunset. All right, let me make it daytime. Ooh, everybody gets sick. But and there we go. All right, let's get the sun a little bit higher. There we go. Very nice. All right. We're at single time there. I'm pretty sure that this stage should at least get us off the ground. Let me... Perhaps I should go north? I'm trying to think. I can't go east because then I'll be over the ocean. I really can't land on the ocean. Perhaps I should go north? I don't want to go west and land in the mountains. Either north or south is where I should kind of direct, because I'd like to get on a trajectory that's similar to a Duna entry trajectory, and try to, come in kind of sideways to see how this entire thing works out. A little bit of a test platform. So, yeah, I think north might be the way to go. There's land up there, and it's relatively flat. So, a test of the Duna Exploration Rover landing system in 3, 2, 1. Well, a little bit of a slow takeoff, but it'll work. All right, let's just gain some altitude. And, north. Well, I guess if I can make it over the bay, that's probably our best bet. Oh, it's actually already leaning north. Oh, I don't have my SAS on, that's why. Ooh. Take it easy. Alright, let's actually... I would like to pitch over even further north. Just to get some nice horizontal movement going on there. That's working out pretty good. Yeah, let's aim for kind of this flat area, which means I'll have to whoop a little bit that way. I'm going to try to keep going in the direction I'm actually traveling. I don't know how high we're going to get up. Maybe 10,000 meters. Maybe. I'm already at half fuel, and yeah, we're about 5,000 meters up. So that seems about right. But yeah, I have some solar panels on the outside for just cruising. And I have actually, you'll notice these little balls. I have RCS thrusters on the bottom side of my heat shield. That's something that the Curiosity rover had on entry so that it could have its more fine-tuned landing to land where it wants to be. I don't know if that's going to provide me any assistance in at least keeping myself upright, maybe. I don't know. Kind of a cool little touch. I guess we'll find out how it works in a little bit. We're about out of fuel here. How am I going to... Alright, I want to get really horizontal here. Yeah, we're above 10,000 meters. How am I going to avoid running into this stage is my current issue. Alright, we're about to run out of fuel, so I guess we're going to find out soon. Alright, stage that. Up. Let me get away. Okay, yep. Okay, that worked. Alright. Alright. Oh, turn off SAS. Okay, yeah, this is the part of the situation where these RCS thrusters are actually going to do me some good. Yeah, as you can see. Whoa. Alright. Alright. Maybe they're not working as well as I anticipated. Let me turn off the fine-tuned controls. Alright, yeah. Stop. Go back. Obviously, Duna doesn't have... Alright, now I've repositioned myself. Little thrusters firing. Yeah, okay, I've repositioned myself. I don't have an SAS module up here. Maybe that's the problem. Alright, and now we are coming down. Alright, so we can come down using our RCS. I wonder if that's an issue, the fact that I have those little pins, you know, the struts. Alright, so let's say we pop the chute, and at the same time we lose our RCS. So watch this. Very much like the Curiosity rover, we lost the... You all saw... Hopefully you all saw those images. There's a camera on the bottom of the rover, and they actually caught the heat shield falling away and then crashing into the surface of Mars, which was really cool. Alright, so far the staging is working as anticipated. It's going to be... Yeah, I don't know why I have SAS on. There's no SAS module on this thing. I suppose maybe around 500 meters. 500 meters is when, in Kerbin atmosphere, the parachute fully deploys. I don't know if that's the case in Duna atmosphere, since it's a thinner atmosphere. Right. Oh, that's a separate... Whoa. Whoops. All right. Well, that we've learned. Don't keep the throttle up to max when you're coming down for your descent, because that will spoil your landing here. Easy. Yeah, we really don't have that much fuel at all. Whoops. Uh-oh. This is problems. Yeah, okay. We'll have to work on our landing. I like having throttle at full throttle wasted half the fuel I had. There really isn't that much fuel here. I don't know if there's anything I can do course, there's less atmosphere on Mars, less gravity, so maybe that won't be that much of a problem. I just really... the parachute's still coming out, and I really have to tell myself to not keep your throttle on full when you do the parachute disconnect. All right, I think, well, everything's staged properly, so I think that was an okay test, even though we kind of cratered. Oh, that's unfortunate. All right, so we will go back to the vehicle assembly building. Let's actually... well, I guess we have to load the full... yeah, maybe that is a problem. As you can see, I have these struts actually connected. I don't know why I did that. Maybe I should do it a different way. Hey. Why is that kind of wonky? Line up, guy. Oh dear. No, no. I wish to look up. There we go. Yeah, okay. Well, maybe that might solve that issue. Staging works correctly. I'm not sure if this is the best way to... I just notice when you disconnect your solid rocket boosters, they don't actually fly away. They just kind of fall down, which is a little bit close for comfort. So I think that when those fire should swing those away. We'll find out. But let's head to the launch pad. Trying to get to Duna with a Skycrane-like lander rover situation. We'll hopefully land somewhere other than the North Pole like we did with the last lander we put on Duna accidentally. Alright, let's turn SAS on and put our throttle up and fine-tune controls, but then let's look at where Duna is to see when the best place to launch would be. Oh, we're actually kind of in a good situation. We could probably fast forward time a little bit to get on a more optimal time to launch. Let's say... yeah, right about there. Stop, 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 stop. And it's daytime. And everything's set. Obviously, we don't have any astronauts because this is a robotic mission, but let us attempt to get a rover on Duna in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. We have cleared the non-existent tower. I could probably throttle down the liquid fuel rockets because the solid fuel boosters are going to be doing most of the lifting power right now. Save some of that fuel. Yeah, I didn't take time to build like a shroud around this. It's not necessary right now. There's not much reason to worry about aerodynamics on the tip of your rocket. All right, we're about to find out if this was a terrible idea. The solid rocket boosters. All right, let's throttle up a little bit and... yep, that was a terrible idea. That was a terrible idea indeed. Damn hell's blazes. I'm still gaining altitude. I could probably see if I could salvage this. Probably not, but that would be certainly interesting. Oh gosh, I'm not paying attention. Come on, go faster, 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 faster. That was unfortunate, to say the least. I don't know that we'll be able to even get into orbit, let alone an escape trajectory. Keep things at about 2 G's acceleration. We're gonna get into space. I know that much. God, that sucks. They really, what they need to do, I remember when these disconnecting parts actually had a little bit of force to them, so when you did disconnect, it pushed away. I don't know why they got rid of that. I'm sure there's a reason, I just don't... I don't pay attention to the forums or the release notes. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa. Alright, so maybe... Huh. Huh. This might be salvageable after all. I doubt it, and I'm probably wasting everybody's time. Huh. Okay. Alright. Alright, let's... yeah, if I throttle off, I'm basically tumbling out of control. Got the whales. Space whales. Let's, Alright, I don't normally do this, but let's do some physical acceleration. Whoa. I almost had a debris issue right there. Alright, I'll save that little bit of fuel. Maybe that'll get us into orbit. I don't know. There's just no... I guess I could just remove those Separatrons and just hope that the solid rocket boosters just glide away without causing any collision. The other problem with those Separatrons is you can't aim them. Like, even these, the reason I point these sideways is if you aim them in the direction of, say, these, it would destroy these, the exhaust. I guess I could put them all the way on the bottom, but... Damn, hell's blazes, hell's blazes. Alright, let's go back to normal time. Yeah. Let's get on the 90 and... try and probably fail to make an orbit out of this. Huh? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, then those disconnect. Thanks a lot, guy. Whoa, whoa. Let's get back on target. Very nice. I don't think the atomic rocket is going to have enough oomph to get us into even a Kerbin orbit. Maybe. Maybe. If I could get that around 70, I would be alright. Alright. Save your fuel. Alright, you're in orbit. Okay. Who knows? Who knows? Alright, so let's start planning a, kind of a escape trajectory. This is happening on the wrong side of the orbit, but, whoops. Oh, I don't need it to be that enthusiastic. There. Escape. I'm avoiding intersecting the moon and Minmus. Alright, okay. Alright. Alright. If I know anything about myself, it's that I don't know when to call it quits. And just start over from scratch. Whoa, 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 wait a minute. I actually have to make sure. Let me... Deploy these solar panels. These batteries are pretty big. Yeah, look at all that energy I have. I think I should survive. Whoa! I thought these were the other ones. It's hard to tell. They should like give you a picture of what the solar panels look like extended, because there's these two solar panel types. One of them extends just vertically, and the other one extends in this kind of 6 pattern. And I wanted the other ones, but it's hard to tell. You can never remember which are which. It looks like we have just enough clearance. All right, we're good. We're good. But I think I should have enough battery power to survive in the shadow of Kerbin. In the shadow of Kerbin. Alright guys, we're back, and we magically got out of Kerbin influence, and we are starting our Trans-Duna burn. As you see, it was about a 3-minute, 20-second burn, so I started at 1 minute, 40 seconds out. And this is what it looks like. There's Kerbin, and that is the orbit we are aiming for, and at this point, a very imprecise intersect and encounter with Duna that we will fine-tune later. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. This is going to take a little bit of time. You've all seen this stuff, trying to get to another planet and stuff, so I'll bring you back when I get closer and have to do some fine-tune things. And then obviously the most important part, what apparently, despite our very explosive start to the mission, looks like it's going to be a possible, hopeful landing on Duna. Let's look at, we have plenty of fuel left, plenty of fuel. So yeah, I'll be back with you in a moment. Alright guys, we're back, and as you can see, we have Duna in our sights, as well as Ike, the moon of Duna. I got a nice, 13 million meters away, but it's a little bit weird. It was just showing me an encounter, and not actually like how close I was going to be, so a little bit weird the way it calculated this, but I'm going to attempt to get like just one burn, and that will be my landing burn. Then again, maybe not. Yeah, I wasn't... I wonder what I can do here to improve my approach. I mean, I'd obviously like to land on the sunny side, but I'm coming in kind of awkward. I think I overshot the planet. What if I... Boop. Like, what happens when I start doing stuff here? I can kind of come in a little bit more equatorially there. Whoa, that really messes me up now, doesn't it? I still don't fully understand the mechanics. What to do? I suppose... I don't like this one bit, see? Maybe this is kind of what I should do. What happens when I do it like that? Oh, maybe. That's not such a bad idea. This is a happy accident, if I can actually get this to work. I can use Ike to kind of give me a little bit of a gravity break, and then come around. I am getting into that dreaded polar kind of orbit, but I could come around and then use Ike to help me get into a better capture orbit. I'm going to quick save just in case this totally balls up everything. So yeah, let's try this. That's going to be a very delicate maneuver, but we'll try it anyway. We're learning as we go along, see? I don't know what voice that was, but it's a new one. Enjoy. Alright, we're back, and I'm about done with this burn. We're going to see what actually happens here. I'm a little bit dubious that this will work at all. I'm dubious! Dubious! Alright, we're at least in an orbit. We can deal with that, but let's see if we can actually... Whoa! Okay, okay, okay. Now let's see... So many colors. Let's use RCS because we have a little bit... We have a lot of that fuel, actually. Okay, so now if we... That little purple line is what happens after our encounter with Ike. I'm just tapping the RCS. And that makes... 1,000,000. What happens if I keep tapping the RCS? Could I actually turn that into my... proper down to 300,000. Of course, I don't want to accidentally intersect the planet before my periapsis. It's also affecting the way I encounter Ike. Okay, things are starting to change weird. I'm not going to get greedy. I'm going to stick with that. So, after our encounter with Ike, we come within 84 kilometers of the surface. So, when we're on this side, we can actually fine-tune our entry. I want to come in kind of shallow to use the atmosphere of Duna as kind of a break with that parachute. But yeah, this is a very... complex and interesting approach I have going on here. I'm a little bit proud of myself, but I know in the back of my mind that this was completely accidental and unintended. But I'll see you on the other side of Ike, I guess. Alright guys, here comes our encounter with Ike. It's a lot bigger of a moon than I remembered. Alright, there we go. We got that going on. Let's see what it looks like from the actual spacecraft. There's Duna. Hello, there's Ike. How are you? Thank you for the little gravity assist here. We're just going to pass by. I don't want to do anything too... I don't think I want to do anything at all, really, while we're passing by Ike. Just because doing so would have grave ramifications. I think what I should do is wait till I'm back out of Ike Escape, and then I will do my adjustments when I'm at Duna Apoapse. And then I could probably adjust things so that I can swing in and start my re-entry, say, around here, and then hopefully land on the sun, the like, facing the sun side of the planet. I really can't choose where I want to land because the planet is rotating and I'm going to take a while to get there, so I guess we'll figure that out when we figure that out. But yeah, here we are. It's our close approach to Ike. We already have a satellite orbiting Ike, a lander orbiting Ike as well, but we haven't decided what to do with that lander yet. Probably be best to just make it land on Ike eventually, but yeah, kind of cool indeed. All right, so I'll see you when I start planning my actual entry situation. All right, guys, we are back. We have Ike off in the kind of shadow, or the silhouette. A silhouette, yes, that's a silhouette. That's the term. Across the sun there, and as you can see, we are getting close to Duna. We have done a couple little orbital maneuvers and have brought ourselves on a little bit more of an straight and equatorial approach, I guess, and I've got us within 2,000 meters of the surface. I believe that's well within the atmosphere, so I think that's going to be plenty of time to deploy the parachute, which will obviously slow us down, enough to hopefully get us into a little bit more of a vertical drop, and then around 500 meters or so I'll be able to disconnect that and then use the Skycrane rockets and things to bring me in for a nice safe landing. Hopefully, I've quick saved a little bit before just this point I brought you guys back in, so in case anything goes wrong, we could always try again. But yeah, I think we're ready to start our final approach. I could theoretically disconnect the orbital stage right here. We have plenty of fuel left. I'm just overcompensating. I should learn to put like a smaller fuel tank. I don't need that much. And apparently I don't even need those 2 extra liquid fuel boosters. I've been making my rockets massively oversized for no reason whatsoever. Because with this launch, I obliterated them and didn't even need them to get to the planet I intended to get to. But yeah, we're coming in below 600,000 meters, 400,000, 300,000. Let's look back at the map to see if anything has changed. Still 1,900 meters. That's good. I suppose maybe we might be landing in this kind of darkened area. At least it looks kind of like the plains. That's good. Or maybe in these kind of Mickey Mouse ears over here. Who knows? It's all a mystery. We are not as precise as NASA. Whoa, we got a little bit of a frame rate issue there. Let me come back and get myself a little bit more... turn off SAS into a proper entry setup here. Under 100,000 meters. Dropping like a stone. I feel like I should disconnect here. Let me see. Let me quickly now just transfer as much of the RCS fuel into these 2 pods that I have with the lander, because those I'm actually going to use. We are at 70,000 meters, coming in pretty steep. Yeah, that number has dropped a little bit. All right, let's make the decision right now. I'm going to kind of tilt sideways just so it doesn't fly back into me. Let me do that. And staging. 3, 2, 1. Now let me get away. Very nice. Those thrusters helped out very nicely. Let me get back onto a proper entry interface here. And this I have to do myself because we don't have an SAS module on the actual lander itself. Let's, oh god, oh, getting sick. Yeah, okay, this is much better camera angle. Very nice. Alright, we are starting, I believe, to encounter some atmospheric effects. It's trying to spin me around. Okay, that stage is properly flying away. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of torquing with the SAS that's going to help us out, but it really doesn't control these RCS thrusters. Alright, 40,000. That stage is safely far away from us. When the sky starts to turn red, that's when we know we have entered the atmosphere. Also, I don't know, we might experience some of the re-entry effects as well. You know, let me tilt down like this just a little bit. Here we go. Got some heat. $30,000. Things are heating up on the other side, or that just might be the reflection of the red atmosphere. Things are very disturbingly silent. Let's quickly take a look at this. Yep, we are starting to slow down. Our apoapsis, our periapsis rather, is getting shorter. 7 minutes of terror. Alright, we're still pretty much flying horizontally, which is good. That's what I want. That way we're going through the maximum amount of atmosphere to slow us down. So far staying pretty steady, not much needing that RCS. I'm starting to see a terrain, which is slightly concerning. What did I say I should deploy the parachute? About 2,000? That mountain is concerning. I did not see that mountain on the map. Oh, okay, I overshot. Alright, we're going to apparently be landing on some sort of highlands, which is going to change the dynamics of this landing a little bit. Alright, no re-entry effects. Guess is interesting. Although we are indeed slowing down because that stage, which is at a higher altitude, is going beyond us. Alright, I'm seeing some rocks pick up. Perhaps I should deploy the parachute? Is that a good assessment? Let me just do this to slow myself down as much as possible with what I have. That seems to be working just fine and dandy, bringing us down to about 500 meters per second. And we're going to lose the stage. 3, 2, 1... that didn't work. Parachute! There we go. Awesome, awesome. Alright, oh god. Okay, we're coming in horizontally. Slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Oh gosh. This is bad, this is bad, this is bad. We're coming in... Okay, whoa! Okay, I didn't expect the parachute to deploy, to be honest with you. Whoa, that was kind of dramatic. Alright, so what did I say, about 500 meters? Although, yeah, we're like on kind of a mountainous terrain here. So, that altimeter is not to be trusted. Alright, very low throttle. I don't need RCS because I don't have RCS anymore. Let us, okay. Nice and steady, nice and steady. Whoa, you really... This is overpowered for landing on Duna, I'll give you that much. And... nice and steady, we've got a shadow, nice and steady, got a nice landing spot. Alright, I'm kind of concerned that the parachute's going to land on me, because I can see the shadow. There it is, alright, good, good, good. Alright, let's just bring her down. Easy, okay, very nice. Alright, that's safe. And... woo! There goes, can I switch to it? Yes, I can. The rover is safe. The Skycrane is heading back into orbit. Well, that was tense. Yeah, I am kind of on this upper plateau here. I guess this is more fuel than you could ever possibly need going into Duna. Where is this thing going? It is going to go back into orbit. See you later. That's funny. How high did it go? It's going to get up to 45 kilometers. Just comes back and hits the rover again. That would be great. Alright, can I switch back? No, I can't. Alright, let's switch back to the rover. Our Skycrane... Oh no, I want to actually be the rover. Damn it! Focus Duna. No, no. Oh, okay. Well, I'm stuck. I'm stuck being the... Alright, I guess we can physical time accelerate this, and I guess we'll just watch the return and re-entry of the Skycrane. That's hilarious. I suppose you could probably get away. I don't know how stable it would be, but you can get away with just having 2 of these rockets, really, I guess. Or even replace it with the even lower thrust rockets that we use on our other landers. Now we're coming back down. Stumbling out of control. I'm surprised I didn't get any of the re-entry effects. I guess the atmosphere of Duna is so thin that you really don't see it. And it landed a good 20 kilometers away from our lander, so that's safe. Safety first. Alright, let's watch this in real time. Hold on to your hats, Geronimo! And the music abruptly ends. Hey, that's a robust part, whatever that is. Alright, let's go. Are we on the rover? No, we're on a piece of debris. Alright, well I need to go back to the rover, please. Why can't... No, I want to actually fly the thing. Alright, well maybe I have to... go back to the space center. And then to the tracking station, and then go to the rover. Rover! Game crash. Oh, I'm underneath the ground. There we go. Alright, so the rover is here. It's actually been roving by itself. Everything seems to have landed intact. What is this? The accelerometer. Oh, that really isn't going to do us much good because we've already finished accelerating. Got 2.91 for our gravity, whatever that means. What's the temperature here on Duna? -30 and getting colder. What other type of... Oh, that's a... toggle? Oh, we've got a little antenna. I had no idea that was a thing. Serves no purpose, but we've got it. Oh, we should have had a barometer. Why do we not have a barometer as one of our scientific payloads? Anyway, we're roving. I actually... Woo! Okay. Driving on the surface of Duna. Okay, what is going on with the camera? No, I want like a chase. I guess not. Oh, that's what the problem is. I mapped the driving wheels because a lot of people say if you keep it on WASD, you might actually tip over because that also affects your center of balance. I'm doing WASD right now and doesn't have a problem. So I remapped it to the arrow keys, up, down, left, right. But apparently that's also mapped to your camera, which is why it's changing as I'm turning. So WASD will work for now. I don't seem to... A little bit of back and forth, but... Woo! Got a rover on Duna! Let's go investigate this rock. Investigate it! Cool, alright, that worked. Not quite as dramatically as I thought it would, but it worked! So perhaps we can apply such methods to landing a manned mission on Duna. Slow down. Brakes. Alright, well, we don't really have all that much control over the rover. Once we get certain momentum up, it's a little bit difficult to stop. Yeah, I guess the gravity is so low that I'm kind of spinning my tires. Whoa, that rock is a lot bigger than I anticipated. Let us investigate. I don't know why. I am, Parking brakes? Yeah, awesome. Alright, cool. Rover on Duna. Awesome. Yeah, we could apply some of this maybe to landing a manned mission on Duna, since we had such terrible luck with that the first time we tried. There's some debris. Where did we specifically land, I guess, is an interesting thing to know. We landed, yeah, up in these highlands. I either was aiming for this or one of the craters, but can't always have what we want, I guess. So yeah, we got that. We also have still our polar lander is up there. That's just a lander. It's not going anywhere. Kind of like Phoenix. Yeah, there's Phoenix, and here's Curiosity. And then out around Ike, we have a little bit of a station. Cool. So yeah, it's kind of cool, was it not? Despite our early launch kind of failure, we recovered quite nicely and landed on Duna. So yeah, this is Kerbal Space Program. You can check it out on Steam if you don't have it yet. I don't know why you wouldn't have had it yet, but check it out on Steam now that it's available. You can still also buy it on the Kerbal Space Program website. But yeah, perhaps the next video we'll think of grander and more grandiosity missions. And yeah, thanks for watching this one. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time.